Hello all. In this session, we will understand what are sales contracts in SAP. So, in our previous sessions, we already discussed what are the different sales order processes. We understood what is a sales order. So, similar to sales order, there is another important thing that you need to understand, that is sales contract. So, what is the difference between the sales order and the sales contract? See, sales order is when you are getting the order from the customer, which is for a particular material and a particular quantity, right? But what happens is sometimes we enter into the contracts with the customers that they will buy this particular material from us for next 1 year at an agreed price. Okay, so there is a topic which we should understand called as outline agreements. What we are discussing today is outline agreements. Now, what do you mean by outline agreements? There are two types of outline agreements. Number one, it is sales contracts, and number two, it is scheduling agreements. So, what exactly is the difference between the sales contract and the schedule agreement, that we will understand today. But this both are coming under the outline agreements, which are little bit different than the normal sales order cycle. So as I told you, normal sales order we create when you get an order from the customer. Okay, customer is requesting that I want this material at this price and this much quantity, right? But sometimes what happens is we enter into the contract or we enter into the legal agreements with the customers that they will buy a particular material at the particular price for next few months or next year. Okay, in that case, we enter into the outline agreements. Now, there are two types of outline agreements, as I told you. One is sales contract and second is scheduling agreement. The only difference between the sales contract and the scheduling agreement is, in scheduling agreement, we not only get what material is required by the customer, we also get the schedule. We also get the schedule that when exactly this material needs to be delivered to the customer. So, scheduling agreement has dates on which material needed or needs to be delivered to customer. So for example, if a customer has entered into the agreement with us for next 1 year and every monthly customer has asked us to deliver 100 quantity of material, what we will do is on a particular date we will create the scheduling agreement, and in the agreement we will enter the different delivery dates, and on each delivery date we will enter how much quantity needs to be delivered to this customer. While in sales contract there is no fixed delivery date. Okay, sales contract is we agreed with the customer that in this year we will supply you 1000 units of this material at this price, but we are not maintain the firm date. The date will be based on whenever customer requires that material. Alright, so sales contract doesn't have the delivery dates. In scheduling agreement, we have the delivery dates. This is the main difference between the sales contract and the scheduling agreement. Now again, within the sales contract, there are two types. Okay, there are two types in the sales contract. Number one is quantity based contracts, and number two is value based contract. I think from the name itself it is very clear. Quantity based contract means we entered into the agreement with the customer that he will buy this much quantity in this particular time period, whatever is the time period. It may be the quarter, it may be the year. Okay, so customer has agreed that he will buy this much quantity from us in this particular month, in a particular period, or in a particular year. On the other hand side, if it is a value based contract, then customer has not agreed on a particular quantity. Rather, customer has agreed that he will buy this much value worth of material from us. It can be one material, it can be several different materials, but the total value of this contract will remain this much. Right? So, let's now understand how these things are handled in SAP. So, in order to create the contracts in SAP, so first I will explain you the cycle and then I will show you what configurations may be required in order to work on the contracts and scheduling agreements. So, in order to create a sales contract, or the scheduling agreement, you will go to logistics, obviously in sales and distribution. Within sales and distribution, if you go to sales, okay, so we already understood what is inquiry, we understood what are the quotations, we understood the orders also. Now you can see there are two more nodes here, scheduling agreement and contract, what we are discussing today. So if I open the contract first, you can see in order to create a sales contract, we need to double click on this transaction VA41. VA41 is a transaction to create a sales contract. Okay, let me double click on this. You can see the screen is very much similar to the sales order screen. Only difference is in the sales order, system will ask you the order type. So you have the order type OR and the multiple different order types based on what scenario you are trying to replicate. But in case of contract, instead of order type, there is a field called as contract type. And if I do F4, here also you can see system is not showing you the sales order types for sales orders. It is only showing you the sales order types which are relevant to the contracts. Right? And two of the most important one that we use in terms of the quantity contract and value contract is this first one is CQ, which is the quantity contract. Okay, so let me double click on this because I'm creating the quantity contract currently. And then similar to sales order, you specify the sales area. So what is your sales organization, what is your distribution channel, your division, sales office and sales group. So in our case, we already have the sales organization created, sales area created. If you want, you can enter the sales office and sales group also. Let me press enter. Again, you can see the screen is very much similar to what we already discussed in terms of the sales order. So you have only again the difference is here normally we have the sales order, but it is showing you the quantity contract number. So sold to party, shipped to party, customer reference date, most of the things you can see are very much similar to the sales order screen. So I'll enter my sold to party. We created multiple sold to parties and we already created a lot of sales orders. From the customer reference point of view, I'm just entering the text. What is the customer reference? We already know it is nothing but the PO number or any document in which customer has asked you to provide this material or customer has confirmed this order. Right, so customer reference, you can enter the PO date here and some other important fields like see now when you are entering the contract, these are the additional fields. It is asking you this contract is valid from and valid to till what date. So if you are entering into the contract for 1 year, you will enter the dates here from which date the contract is starting and at which date this contract is ending. So based on whether it is yearly or quarterly, you will be providing those dates. Let's assume in our case this is a quarterly contract. Okay, and we are starting from 1st of October 2020 and we are ending at 31st of December 2020. So October, November and December, these are the 3 months that we are considering in this contract. Okay, now you have to specify which material. Okay, we are entering into the quantity contract. So we need to tell the system that we are entering in for which particular material and how much quantity. So here you will be entering the material number, right? So in our case, the material number is trading goods 2, which we are using for our scenarios. Here you will enter the target quantity. Now this would be the total quantity that you are agreeing with the customer, right? So you'll be entering that quantity. Let's assume we entered into the quantity 120. Now you can see, as I told you, in the previous case, I told you the difference between the contract and the scheduling agreement. Since this is a contract, we are entering the full quantity of 3 months. We are not telling the system that 40 needs to be delivered on October, 40 needs to be delivered on November, and remaining 40 needs to be delivered on December. We are entering into 120. This customer can utilize anytime. Okay, there is no fixed dates. There are no fixed delivery dates for this. This is the overall quantity that we are entering in the sales contract. Right? So these are some of the important things. Now let's see if there are any other important field. So definitely we need to specify the plant from where you are going to deliver this material. So the plant is RC01. Even you can enter the value at which you have agreed into the contract. So for example, we agreed with the customer that we will be providing you this material at a particular rate. So that conditions system will ask you. Let's try to go to edit and see the incompletion log. Let's see if there is any important field which we missed. The customer reference date is in past. This is just a warning message. If you want to change it, let's keep it as today's date. So today is 19th of December 2020. Again, the valid from date is in the past, but that is fine. Let's keep on pressing enter. Okay, and you can see there are some important mandatory fields which we have not entered, and that is the reason it is showing under the incompletion log. So let's go one by one. Incoterm is a mandatory field. Let me enter the Incoterm. Okay, and if I want to see the next incomplete thing, I can just click on this edit next data. It will automatically take me to the other important things which I missed. So payment terms, let's say the payment terms is 30 days or maybe payable immediately, whatever you want. So I'm selecting this within 14 days, 2% cash discount. Let's go to the next one. Now system is asking you the net value. So at what price we are going to provide this material to the customer. So I'm entering this mandatory condition. We already discussed this condition types and all in detail in our pricing session. So here I will say that we agreed that we will be providing this material at 2000 each, right? So 2000 is my price per material that I'm going to charge to the customer, and total order value will be this much. Don't worry about this dot. As we discussed previously, we are following the European signs. That is the reason it is showing as dot instead of comma. Right, so this is done. Now let's go back. Okay, and now you can see the document is complete. Once this document is complete, just click on save. Okay, so the quantity contract has been created. Now what will happen is the quantity contract has been created, but can I deliver the material against the quantity contract? The answer is no. Normally what we do is we entered into the contract with the customer. We told the customer that whenever you want a material, you just give us the order. Okay, and based on this contract, whatever terms we have agreed, the price that we have agreed, we will be giving you this material at that particular price. Now, whenever a customer needs the material, they will again provide you the order. Right? So once the customer is giving you the order that I want this much material, this much quantity, again, you will follow the normal sales cycle, which means you will create a sales order. So you will go to transaction VA01. But this time, instead of creating the order without any reference, what we will do is we will create the order with reference. Okay, so you have to provide the order type, whatever order type you want. We can continue with the normal one, which is OR. You will click on create with reference. And here you can see, similar to, if you remember, we discussed how to create a sales order against an inquiry, against a quotation, against any other sales order. You can see there is an option of contract also. So what we want to do, we want to tell the system that against this contract, this customer has provided us the order. Okay, so what is a contract number? I just copied, I think. Yes, this was a contract number. I'm just pasting it. If you don't know the contract number, obviously you can go here and you can select this by providing whatever selection criteria you want. Okay, so in our case, maybe the sales document type was CQ. So it will show you all the contracts which are created. You can see this is our contract. Let's double click on this. Okay, and click on copy. So system will automatically copy all the details, including what? It will include your customer. It will include your all the things which we already maintained in the contract. Those are included. But the problem is, you can see we got one error that the material is excluded. Okay, so there is another topic called as material exclusion, which I was trying, and that is the reason this material is excluded. But no need to worry about that. Just remember, what will happen is automatically that material will come here. Whatever material you have entered in the contract, that will appear here. So maybe just to avoid this issue, what I'll do is I'll simply go to my quotation. So I'll go to, not quotation, contract. I'll go to VA42 and instead of this particular material, let me change this material so that I'm able to show you the complete cycle. So what I'll do is trading underscore goods. Yeah, let me take this material instead of the one that we already took, so that we are not getting that error related to material exclusion. Okay, so I'm again going to transaction VA01. I will enter the order number and I will create a order with reference to the contract. This is our contract number, and just now we have changed the material. So you can see everything has been copied, including the material that we want to deliver to the customer. Now by default, system is showing you the entire quantity, but it may not be entire quantity, right? In a quarter, customer is going to order this much, but on a particular date, customer may not need the entire material. And that is the reason he may give you the order of, let's say, 50, 60, 100, whatever it is. Right? So what you will do is you will enter the actual quantity against the original quantity of 120, what customer has ordered for this particular sales order. Okay, and obviously you will be entering the customer PO number, you will be entering the customer PO date. Okay, and based on this, you can again go to edit, see if there is any incompletion. Normally there will not be any incompletion. The reason is because this data is already copied from your contract. So if you already maintained everything in your contract, it is just a copy of whatever you have entered. So in short, if you just click on save, the system will be able to create a standard order. Okay, but if you go to the sales order, if I click on display, okay, and if you go to your document flow, you will come to know that this standard order that we created with order type OR is actually with reference to this. So at any point in time, if you want to know what is the total, let me go to the contract. Okay, so if I want to go to contract, I can go to transaction VA43 to display the contract. Okay, and let's go to the status of this contract. So I'll click on the header details and click on the status. So you can see overall status is in process because some of the orders are already created. Right? If I want to see the quantities, so once your contract is created, once your sales order is created based on the contract, you can create multiple sales orders based on the same contract. So for example, out of 120, we already created a sales order of 50. Now let's assume after a few days, again a customer came and he has ordered another set of material. So what you will do is you will again go to transaction VA01, okay, and you will enter your sales order type, whatever you want. In the create with reference, again you will go and enter the contract number against which you are creating the order. So if I click on copy once again, now what will happen this time is you can see all the other details are as it is, but if you see the order quantity, system is showing you 70, it is not showing you 120. Why? Because out of 120 we already ordered, or the customer has already ordered the 50 quantity before the creation of this sales order. So now let's assume customer has ordered more quantity than what is entered in the contract. So what system will do is system will just give you the warning message. So if I press enter, you can see you are getting a warning message from the system. Okay, we can control whether we want to keep this as a warning or error message, but since it is a sales cycle, we don't mind if a customer is buying more material than we agreed, right? And that is the reason this is normally kept as warning message. So you can see target quantity was 120, but now we are trying to, or the customer is trying to order more than that. That is the reason system is giving you the warning message, right? So if you want to continue, just press enter. System will allow you to buy more quantity than the contract. Okay, and again you can just go to edit, you can go to incompletion log, and if there is anything which is mandatory which you have not entered, just enter that and then try to save this order. So what will happen is, now if you go to that contract, if I go to transaction VA43 and against this particular contract, if I want to see what is the further process which is done, you can very clearly see that against this contract there are two sales orders created, one with the quantity 50 and other with the quantity 80. Okay, and that is the reason you can see the status of this contract, which was earlier in process, if you remember, now it is showing completed, because we already created the orders more than what was agreed in the contract. Right? So this is how these SD contracts are created. Once the contract is created, you can process it through the order, and once the order is created, now the remaining cycle is same as what we already see in the sales order cycle. So for example, if I want to process the sales order, what I'll simply do is I'll do the delivery, I'll do the billing, and ultimately I'll receive the payment from the customer. Right? So if I want to process this particular sales order, I'll go to transaction VL01N. Okay, and I need to enter for which sales orders I want to deliver the material from which shipping point. So this is our shipping point, this is our sales order number, this is the latest one that we created. If I press enter, since there is no delivery due, because again we are talking about the weekend, so I think let's go to the sales order and see when exactly the delivery is due. So for this particular order, if I double click on this and go to my schedule lines, you can see the delivery is due on 22nd. Why so? This is based on the factory calendar. So if we already have we are doing this on Saturday, and Saturday and Sunday is defined as a holiday in our calendar, that is the reason system is proposing us the next day. This we already discussed in availability control. So there are two reasons when the delivery can be postponed as compared to the requested delivery date. So if the requested delivery date is today's date, that is 19th of December, system will check in the factory calendar. If that date is coming as holiday, system will propose the next working day. Okay, and second thing when it can postpone is when the material is not available. So it may happen that this material itself is not available in the stock, and that is the reason system will propose you that the material will be available on this particular date, and based on this date system will provide you the confirmation. So here the confirmation is 22nd. That is the reason if you want to proceed with the delivery, you will go to transaction VL01N. Okay, here you need to enter the delivery date. So for this particular order, the delivery date is 22nd, and then system will allow you to enter the picked quantity, generate the PGI, followed by the billing document. Right, so I hope you understood how the sales contract is created and what is the sales cycle. The tables and all for the contract are normally same. So it also goes to table VBAK and VBAP. If I just show you the tables, so VBAK for our sales document header data, because this table is not only for the sales orders. This table is for all the different type of sales documents. So if I enter my sales contract number, okay, and if I execute it, you will be still able to see the data related to this contract. Okay, similarly, this is a header data. If you want to see the item level data, you will go to table VBAP and you will be still able to see the data in the same table. Okay, so in our next session, I will show you how to create the value contracts. We understood how to create the quantity contracts now. Similar to this, we will understand what are the value contracts in our next session. Thank you. Okay, so in this session, I will show you how to create a value contract. We already seen how to create a quantity based contract and how to process it further. Now we will see how to create a value based contract, and then we will see how to do the config, what are the differences in the configurations. So now if I go to, okay, before that, let me show you the quantity based contract that we created previously, and let me show you how you can see the open quantity or the ordered quantity. So if you open the contract that we created previously, quantity contract, you can see the contract quantity was 120, out of which you will be able to see here how much is already ordered. Okay, so why it is showing 130? Because we ordered 50 for one order and the second order was 80. That is the reason it is clearly showing you that against this contract, total quantity ordered is 130. Okay, so if you want to check out of the total quantity of the contract how much is already ordered, one option is you can go to the list of sales orders and you can count this quantity. Second option is you can directly go to the line level and you will be able to see the ordered quantity. Right, now let's go to the value based contract. So again, the value based contract, you will be using the same transaction code, which is VA41. Only difference is instead of contract type, previously we use contract type CQ for quantity based contract. For value based contract, we normally use WK1. So select this WK1, enter your sales area, okay, and just press enter. Now you can see, based on the contract type that you have selected, see, other things are same. We use the same transaction VA41 and all, but the screen looks little bit different. What is the reason? The reason is the contract type that we have used. Currently we are using value based contract, and that is the reason system is least bothered about the quantity. So you will enter the customer number. I am entering another customer number to avoid the confusion. I will enter the customer reference, which is nothing but the PO number. I will enter the customer reference date. Okay, here I need to enter the valid from and valid to, similar to what I have done in the quantity contract also. So let's keep it same, which is 1st of October to 31st of December. It can be a quarter, it can be the year, whatever has been agreed with your customer. And here you will enter the target value. Okay, target value means how much is the total value of this contract, because it is a value based contract. So we are telling the system that we entered into the agreement with this customer that between this date and this date, customer will buy this much worth of material. Okay, and if you want, you can enter the material, which material the customer will order. Just press enter. Okay, ignore the warning message. It is saying the date is in the past. Let me press another enter. Okay, and this is fine. One more thing that you need to take care is go to this display these order details, and here in the check partner you say no check. Okay, maybe later on I'll explain you what exactly is this, but normally we go with no check. Okay, and now let's try to save this contract. So you can see saving the contract will generate the contract number. This is our contract number that we just now generated, and the next process is same as the quantity contract, which means whenever a customer orders this particular material, we will go to transaction VA01. Okay, we will enter the order type. In create with reference, we will enter the contract number. So previously we entered contract number 411 for quantity contract. Now for value based contract, we created this contract just now. Just click on copy. Okay, you can get this message. In order to get rid of this message, see what is happening is we have not entered into the quantity contract with the customer, and that is the reason by default system is showing quantity open as 1. But we don't want to order only one quantity. We want to order as many quantity as we want until we reach the value of the contract, and that is the reason what you need to do is you need to click on this enter material. Okay, here you enter which material you are buying, and here you enter the quantity. Now it may also happen that you are ordering different materials from the customer. It is not restricted to this material only. If you want, you can enter different materials here. That is also completely fine. So this material, this much quantity, let me come back and click on copy. Okay, click on copy, and you can see system is showing you that we are asking the customer to provide, or customer has asked us to provide 5 quantity of this particular material. Okay, you can go to edit, you can see the incompletion log if any. You can see customer reference is mandatory, which we are not maintained. So customer reference, again let's go to edit and incompletion log. Now everything seems to be completed. So which means you can click on save and system will generate the order number. Again, if you go to this order, you will be able to clearly see that how much of the total orders are created based on this contract. So based on this value contract, this is a single order which is created as of now for this much quantity, and the value is this much. Now if I want to verify the value with the contract value, so I'll go to the contract, which is transaction VA43, and for this particular contract you can see the total contract value was this much, out of which this much is already used. Now in this case it is more, okay, because we are getting confused with this dot sign. So it was, we actually entered 1 lakh, but it is showing or maybe we entered, yeah, this is 1 lakh, right? Yes, 1 lakh, and we entered 5 quantity and each quantity is 1 lakh. That is the reason the overall value is more than the contract value, but that is completely fine as long as this is a customer contract. Okay, so you can always get this report out of the total contract value, how much is actually released. The next process is same. Once the sales order is created, you will, based on the delivery schedule, you will go to transaction BL01N and you will start delivering the material to the customer and generating the billing documents. Okay, so this is how the value-based contracts work. Now the next one is scheduling agreements. I told you the only difference between the contract and the scheduling agreement is, in the scheduling agreement we mention the dates when we create the agreements itself. In the contract we are only entering the dates when we are getting the orders from the customer. In scheduling agreement we don't need the customer to give us the order every time. Customer will give you one single agreement in which they will mention what are the delivery dates when the material needs to be delivered to the customer. So in order to create the scheduling agreements, what you need to do is you need to go to another transaction. We are not going to use the same transaction as contracts. So logistics, sales and distribution, you will go to sales. Within sales, you can see there is a separate node for scheduling agreements. So just open this VA31. Again, system is asking you the scheduling agreement type. Okay, so normally we use LP, which is a standard scheduling agreement provided by SAP. Let me double click on this, press enter. So what you need to do is you need to enter the customer with whom you are agreeing to provide this particular material. So again, just to avoid the confusion, I will select maybe some other customer. So which one I can take? Let's take this one. Okay, customer reference, I am entering something. Customer reference date, I need to enter something. Again, the validity. So let's say it is valid from 1st of October to 31st of December. Which material? This material, how much quantity? Let's say quantity is 120. Okay, or whatever quantity you have agreed with the customer. Or maybe just to keep it simple, let's say 300. And customer has asked you to provide this material on three different dates. Okay, customer already provided you the details of when exactly this material is required. So what you will do in that case is you will double click on this. Okay, first of all, there is a wrong customer that we selected. Let me change it. I can take the same customer which I used previously so that I know you will not get any error there. You can ignore this warning message because the date is passed. No problem, just press enter and you can see system is taking you to the scheduling agreement header data and it is saying pricing condition is mandatory. So I'll go to conditions. I will enter the pricing condition which is PR00 and I need to tell the system what is the amount per unit. Again I'm entering 2000. Oh, this is a header. So normally we enter the conditions in the lines. Let me go to the lines. So again I'm going back. I'm entering the customer number, customer reference date. Okay, I'm entering if you want to provide some description, you can provide that. So you can say this is a scheduling agreement with this customer for between this date and this date or whatever way you want. You can enter the material here with the target quantity as 300. Okay, let me just double click on this. Just ignore the warning message. Enter. Again double click. Go to conditions to enter the pricing. So let's assume the pricing is 2000. Let me see if it has calculated. Yes, so pricing is 2000, and then let me go back. Okay, now let me see if this is complete. Net value it is not calculating, because net value, see, this is the difference between the contract, sales orders and scheduling agreements. In the scheduling agreements, the system will only calculate the value once you provide the delivery schedule. So let me show you how you are going to do the delivery schedule. Double click on the line, go to schedule lines, and this is where you need to provide the delivery schedule. So which means, let's assume customer has asked you that you need to provide the first list of materials on 31st of October 2020, second set of materials on 30th of November 2020. Sorry, I'm taking the past dates, but let's see if it works. Otherwise, we will create a contract with the future dates. Okay, I think it will allow, it will not give you any problem. So 31st of October, 30th of November and 31st of December. Order quantity, let's say on 31st of October, customer has asked 120 quantity, 30th of November, another 100, and the remaining quantity of 80 on 31st of December. Let me just press enter, ignore the warning message. Okay, you can see by default system is proposing the new dates because these dates were in the past. Okay, so no problem, the quantity is confirmed 120, 100 and 80, which would be delivered to customer on this particular date, because these were older dates. Or if you want to avoid this situation, let me do one thing. Let me change these dates. Instead of past dates, let me enter the future dates. So let's say we entered into the contract with the customer starting from 1st of Jan 2021 and ending on 31st of March 2021. Okay, because the schedule line already exists, it is not allowing me to change. So better, let's create a completely new one. So VA31, enter, customer reference. This also, if you want, you can change it. Valid from 1st of Jan 2021 to 31st of March 2021. This material, this much quantity, and if I double click on this, let me enter the conditions. Okay, you can see currently there is pricing condition is missing. So PR00, I will enter this as 2000. Okay, and then I will go back, double click on this, go to schedule lines, and here I need to enter the delivery dates. So first delivery on 1st of Jan 2021, second delivery on 1st of Feb 2021, and third delivery on 1st of March 2021. How much quantity? 120, 100 and 80. Enter. So you can see, since these are the dates in future, system is confirming these quantities on the required date itself. Okay, so this is the scheduling agreement in which you are creating the scheduling agreement. You are entering into the contract with the customer that we will be providing you this much material on this quantity on this particular date. Okay, let's try to save this now. So the scheduling agreement has been created. Now once the scheduling agreement is created, based on this scheduling agreement, you will deliver the material to the customer. There is no need to create the sales order. Scheduling agreement itself is a sales document which is treated as a sales order. And that is the reason what I can directly do is I can go to my delivery outbound delivery transaction VL01, and here I can enter that I want to perform the delivery against this particular order. And since my first delivery date is 1st of Jan 2021, I'll be able to deliver this much quantity to this particular customer. Okay, so every monthly, on every delivery date, I will come here and I will do the delivery to the customer, and followed by the delivery, we will be able to create a billing document. right? If you want to know at any point in time how many deliveries are due, there is a report, there is a transaction which will show you the report. It is the transaction code for that is VL10A. Okay, this is the transaction code. You can see sales order fast display. It will show you against which particular uh, delivery schedule or against which particular sales order the deliveries are due. Okay, so if you want to enter the sales document, if you want to enter all these details, you can enter. For me, I'm entering the sales organization RECH and I want to know, let me provide these dates from 1st of Jan 2021 to 31st of March 2021, how many deliveries are due for this particular sales organization. Okay, so the system is showing you this much. Let's see which one is ours. You can see this one. System is showing against this contract on 1st of Jan 2021, this much quantity is to be delivered. Right? It should show others also. Why it is not showing the next ones? Let me see. Okay, delivery date, it is taking 18th. I want this up to 31st of March 2021. Last delivery creation further in future then allowed. Okay, it is only allowing up to 30 days. That is the reason it is taking by default next 30 days. So we can control how many days we want to see. It is only showing 30 days as of now. Right? You can see all up to maximum number of days. Today and tomorrow, these are the different things which you can define. So for example, if I select this and provide my required date, that is 31st of March 2021, and execute it, it is still showing this one only. Just give me a minute. This you can control from here up to what date you want to see, or maybe from the configuration we will see. So you can see if you want to see only for today and tomorrow, you can use 2. This is only for today. By the end of next week, due tomorrow, and you can control from the user exit, which means you can involve your ABAP. All up to maximum number of days. So this maximum number of days needs to be defined, which is currently defined as 30. Let me show you in the configuration where exactly we can change this maximum number of days. So logistics general, it will come under shipping, I think. See, normally we don't do this for next few months, but I'm just trying to show you how you can see that report for the future months also. So I need to go to sales and distribution, basic functions. Where is shipping? Sales, documents. No, shipping comes under what? Shipping should be here itself. So shipping point in our case is RC01. These are routes and all, picking time, packing time, loading time. This is from where your dates comes automatically in the sales order. But what I am looking for is where I can tell the system that what are the maximum number of days to be covered. So sales documents, where is shipping? Let's try the logistics general. I think it will come under the logistics general. Okay, no, forget it. Maybe I'll show you where exactly it can be controlled. So what is happening is normally we use this report only for a particular set of days. We normally don't use more than 30 days, but this can be controlled. We can tell the system what is the maximum number of days system should treat for this particular report. Okay, and based on that you will generate this report and it will show you which orders are due for delivery with respect to the particular sales order or a sales contract or a sales delivery schedule. Right? So this is how your scheduling agreement works. To summarize on the contracts and scheduling agreements, what we understood is both together are called as outline agreements. Okay, the common thing is it is an agreement with the customer to provide certain quantity of material or certain value worth material in a particular time period. The only difference between the contract and the scheduling agreement is when the contract is created, the delivery schedule is not provided by the customer. Okay, customer just tells I want this material, this quantity. Okay, when I need, I will provide you the sales order. On the other hand, when it comes to the scheduling agreement, when the agreement is created, customer will provide you the dates on which the material needs to be delivered to the customer. That is the basic difference between the sales contract and scheduling agreement. So I hope you understood this. In the next video, I will try to explain you some other remaining topics like material determination, material listings and exclusions, followed by some other topics. Thank you.